In recent years, the movement to eradicate offensive Native American language has sparked a national conversation. Nearly 2 months ago, the Washington NFL team announced its new name as the Commanders in the hopes of moving forward from a dark past. The new film, Imagining the Indian, the fight against Native American mascotting, explores the racial reckoning of using Native American names, images, and gestures in sports. Let's take a sneak peek.
Just a football team.
That to me is not honoring somebody. That to me is demeaning.
And if it was any other race of people, nobody would stand for it.
This insult is a door to racism. Change the name.
And joining us now is Suzanne Harjo, Native American rights advocate, and Kevin Blackistone, American sports journalist, to discuss in further detail. Suzanne and Kevin, welcome to the show. Suzanne, let's start with you. The film addresses the misappropriation and history of Native culture in the world of sports. Why do you think in 2022 teams are still using Native American-themed mascots and chants?
Slow learners, I guess. We've changed over 2,000 of these, eliminated them entirely from the American sports scene. And you would think that by now, the first one was eliminated in 1970, Little Red at the University of Oklahoma. You would think that by now everyone would have caught on that these are just horrific slurs and the kind of racism that absolutely would not be allowed for anyone else. So I don't know why anyone would continue, but I think they'll start getting on the right side of history very quickly.
You know, we heard in that little clip there the idea of demeaning versus honoring. Where is the line?
Well, there's no honoring. There is zero honoring of us in any of this. It is identity theft. It's taking our religious and cultural iconography and using it for sport or using it around people who are just out of their minds, drunk. And these are not ways that we're taught to be in the world. And the way that things are related to us, we have nothing to do with that. We are not those mascots. And if anyone wants to honor us, they will remove all of them from the entire sports horizon and let everyone get back to being athletes.
And Kevin, in the documentary, you're seen speaking with a Washington Commanders fan who is adamant about the rebranding of the team's name. Let's take a look.
No matter what you say, or no matter what you do, Washington Redskins is always going to be the Washington Redskins. Get over it.
How difficult is it to have these kinds of conversations with people who say it's just a football team and this is not really offensive? How do you explain why it is?
Well, it's an educational process. I mean, I was born and reared in Washington, D.C. in a family that had season tickets to watch this team play from back in the 1950s. And I was in a progressive household. My father was very active in a lot of community organizing. In fact, he got the team in the 1960s to stop playing the song Dixie to open its games. So that's very much a part of who I am and who my family was. But it wasn't really until the 1990s when I tripped across a protest up in Minnesota before the Washington football team's last Super Bowl game in 1992 that I really began to think about the name of this team and how deleterious it was to the people who it was supposed to be honoring or supposed to be representative. So, you know, one of the reasons we did this film was because people have to be educated about the danger of these names. And also we wanted to highlight Suzanne's work on this issue for several generations now and point out to people that this is not a new fight. This is a very old fight. And that not only does it impact Native peoples in this country directly, but it also indirectly impacts how other people treat people of color in this country.
And Kevin, even as professional teams start to steer away from using native-themed mascots or names, more than 1,000 high school teams still continue to show resistance. Why do you think that that is, and what efforts do you propose should be done to move the conversation forward? I know you say it's an old conversation, so how do you continue to keep it alive?
Well, slowly but surely, you know, it is that educational process. And as people have become aware of the danger of the name, how insensitive it is, how insidious, how pernicious it is, they have begun to back away. People are very difficult to change for whatever reasons. But I don't so much look at the high schools that are still out there with the names as much as Suzanne pointed out, the number of high schools out there who have moved away from the names, and there are more and more each and every day. But, you know, it's just very difficult to change behavior of people that have been going on for a couple of generations.
And lastly, Suzanne, there have, of course, been some long overdue changes, like the Cleveland Indians changing their names to the Guardians in the past year, and, of course, the Washington football team. What gives you hope that this will continue to happen more often?
Well, because people are basically good. And once most people are told or have a realization that what they're doing is just awful to other people, they snap to and change. Then you're left with the people who say, so what? And those are the hardliners that will just never be educated. They don't want to be educated. They reject education, and those are the ones that you just have to hope understand something after change is made. We've eliminated more than half of these. Now we still have half to go, and we welcome anyone as an ally. But if you're just going to argue about it and keep telling us we're honored when we're saying our children are suffering from this, then go wait until we change all of them, and then just appreciate what has been done.
Suzanne and Kevin, we thank you both so much for joining us tonight. Imagining the Indian, the fight against Native American mascotting premieres this month.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.